We are back with sneak peeks, everyone. It's been a while, over half a year, but here it is, a new one, and there's quite a bit of information, so let's get to it. Hey Risers, it's been a while. As you might remember, last November we made the difficult call to cancel the beta we had planned. We didn't communicate much after that, and that silence wasn't fair. I've apologized about that before, and I'll do it again. It sucked, for you and for us. Although in their defense, with things always changing, sharing information that could become outdated at any point probably wouldn't be very helpful, and will probably end up in a lot of disappointment for everyone. The good news, we've been busy. We tore some things apart, asked some brutal questions about what R.I.S.E actually is, and rebuilt around the answers. This post is about that process, what we caught, and why we're genuinely more excited about the game today than we were last year. So am I. Why beta didn't happen? When we looked honestly at the game heading into beta, it wasn't good enough. Not need some polish, not good enough. Structurally not good enough. Many of the features, lobby, camp, checkpoints we built to reduce the burden on matchmaking. Remember how being separated by just one floor in alpha left you without teammates? Yes, it was kind of a solo climb most of the time. And make the climb drop in, drop out, and more digestible in smaller chunks didn't work. The core loop was a disjointed mess. And to make things worse, the core gameplay we refined over 2 pre-alphas and an alpha test went backwards as we tried to streamline hero progression and build a pipeline that could deliver heroes better and faster than we had been able to up to that point. So the issue was not that they needed more time to fix things and make them smoother. The issue was that what they had just didn't work. It didn't feel right, so they had to go back and redo it. As a result, as we will see, when it comes to previous sneak peeks, some of them are not so relevant anymore, which it's unfortunate, but again, that's just how things are. So I think just the fact that we still got to see the progress of things, I think it's really cool. What's changed? A lot, and nothing at all. It's still the same core game, pick a hero, fight up the tower with friends, upgrade your hero and try again. But it's cleaner, tighter, and a better foundation to build on long term. Tower structure. The biggest change is that the tower is no longer a single massive never-ending climb. At the start of each climb, you choose a difficulty or path through the tower. A simple 5-floor brave jaunt, a challenging 15-floor heroic attempt, or a legendariously long legendary climb. You start at brave and unlock higher difficulties as you complete each one. So instead of one single endless path where the goal is to go up endlessly, now there are separate paths where the goal is to complete those paths. This structural change does a few things. Predictable session length, you know upfront how many floors and how much time you're committing to. Shorter climbs for quick sessions, longer ones for a real challenge. Before, the climb went on endlessly. You could do 1 or 2 floors back to back, log off the game, then come back, do 10 floors, log off, get back on, and repeat the process until you fail to complete a floor. Now, however, you choose a path and commit to a climb where you have to complete all the floors in one go. If you're low on time, you can do a short climb and then move on with your day. If you're looking for a challenge and have a lot of time, then you can try a longer path and grind all day. Keeps the team together. Once you commit to a climb, everyone stays together for the whole thing. No more losing teammates after one floor, or getting stranded alone on a high floor. Matchmaking is based on chosen difficulty, so everyone has the same expectations going in. Before, everyone was at a different floor of the tower, so oftentimes, if no one was where you were, or people didn't play at the same time, you would end up alone with bots. Keeping the team together the entire climb means you won't have to worry about finding teammates all the time, and concentrating the player base into a few paths where their floor number isn't a factor anymore means the matchmaking should be faster and with less bots. Less punishing. You know exactly how many floors stand between you and cashing out, and you can even pick the difficulty that suits your hero. Yes, it felt great climbing high in the tower, but it felt even worse getting kicked back down and restarting from almost nothing. Before, in the early playtests, you could reach floor 1000, and if you lost, you had to start back on floor 1. You could skip some floors if your hero level was high enough, but it still felt like a huge setback. As we saw in previous sneak peeks, this would have been alleviated with waystones and tower sections, so defeat meant you only went down a few floors, but based on these changes, it probably wasn't enough either. Now, if you pick a path with 5 floors and you lose, the max amount of progress lost will be 5 floors. If you choose a path with 15 floors, then the loss will be 15 floors. The point is that you will be going into the path knowing what the risk and reward is, and whether that is a risk you want to take. As for heroes, before, if you wanted to keep climbing and you only had one hero upgraded, that meant you were locked into that hero. You couldn't use others unless you lost and started from the beginning. And even if you had another hero that was of a high enough level for you to use, their abilities may have not been upgraded to the extent of your main hero. The point is, if you wanted to keep climbing, it was difficult, if not impossible, to change to another hero. With this new change, you can simply try out different heroes in easier paths, and level them up before attempting a harder path, allowing you to play any hero at any time. We still have plans for an infinite tower mode for teams who want to push their limits, but that will be a late game challenge rather than the core starter experience. Hero kits, my favorite section. In alpha, hero upgrades were too static. You made your choices before a climb and that was it. Fun, but not fundamental. Last year, we tried pulling more functionality into trinkets and spells you could equip during a climb, which I personally thought seemed like good additions. They were good, but we lost something on the way: the heart of each hero. I interpreted this as trinkets and spells kind of taking away from a hero's uniqueness, thus being removed from the game, or at least changed so they wouldn't involve abilities from heroes. But nope, they are still there. They just won't be in beta and instead be reworked in the future. Heroes are now deeper than ever. Each hero's base kit has a light attack, a heavy attack charged by using light attacks, and a skill. Going back to the heavy attack here for a moment, I find this change very interesting, because even if this wasn't the intention, I see this as a way to balance it with the other attacks. Heavy attacks tend to be powerful, so much that they can often be spammed, something which I personally did during the early playtests. This will be a way to stop the player from doing that, from over-relying on the heavy attack, giving all moves a place in the kit. You couldn't just use the heavy attack all the time, you would have to work for it. But the real depth comes from upgrades unlocked at the end of specific floor types that fundamentally change how a hero plays. Archer might unlock an Empower light attack after each skill use, letting her fire a volley of homing arrows. Valkyrie could throw her axe into the ground, knocking down enemies after her whirlwind spin. Barbarian can summon other barbs to charge alongside him. This one especially sounds epic. The upgrades you choose shape the perk builds you pursue, creating a more varied and interesting decision path through every climb. And as your hero levels up, their pool of upgrades and perks grows, so future climbs open up new possibilities. This means whenever you start a climb, your hero starts with no upgrades and no perks, but as you go up, every so often you get to choose upgrades and perks. The higher the level of your hero, the more upgrades and perks you can choose from. The more upgrades and perks, the more playstyles. It's like you're building your hero as you go up. Everyone could be using Barbarian, and at the start, every Barbarian would be the same. But as you go up and get upgrades and perks, everyone's Barbarians would become their own. The trade-off is that beta will launch with fewer heroes than we originally planned. 6 heroes will be playable: Barbarian, Archer, Valkyrie, a Bicon trio, Firecracker, Bomber, new to this game, but we had seen him in Clash Heroes, which is kinda cool. Now we just need Wizard, Explorer, and Royal Cook, and they'll all be reunited. And Goblin Brawler, which we knew of from a sneak peek, but have not been able to play as him yet. Heroes from earlier tests, Countess and Fisherman, and announced heroes like P.E.K.K.A, Battle Machine, Hog Rider, poor Hog Rider, still waiting. Bandit and Hunter are still in development. Reworking kits to this depth takes time, and we won't ship half-baked versions just to hit a number. We learned that hard lesson last year. The gameplay team has also put serious work into aiming and control so that they feel smoother, more responsive, and tighter even in poor network conditions. What's the same? Leaderboards so you can compete against friends and foes, a season shop where you can spend in-game currency to buy stuff, unlockable hero skins, and voice chat are all in. What's next? We're not ready to announce a specific test date yet, though it's not too long now. If I had to guess, maybe July, since that's when the very first playtest happened, but it's just a guess, so do not quote me on that. What we can tell you is that we're getting closer. We're actively building, and we haven't been this confident about the direction of R.I.S.E in a long time. In the meantime, enjoy some screenshots and gameplay footage from a recent build. Yes. See you in the tower, everyone. See you in the tower. Alright, let's look at what we got. Starting with the video. It's pretty short, so first I'm just going to let it play on its own and then we'll talk about it. The game is looking great, the music is great, the visuals look great, the gameplay looks great, so very excited. The video is highlighting the new heavy attack. The first part shows the basic and perfect heavy attacks of Valkyrie. The basic heavy attack being when you simply tap the heavy attack button, and the perfect heavy attack being when you hold it and release it at the right time. For her basic heavy attack, she does a whirlwind spin axe attack. Short, but it's good area damage. For her perfect heavy attack, the length of the whirlwind spin increases substantially. The third one is also the perfect heavy attack, but this time with a heavy upgrade that adds an effect to it. In this case, the effect being that once a spin is done, Valkyrie jumps high in the air and throws her axe into the ground with tremendous force, doing even more area damage. Same move every time, but optimize the better the timing and the more upgrades. And since heavy attacks will need to be charged, nailing the timing will be crucial to get the most out of them. The team also said there will be perks that allow you to charge heavy attacks faster, and other perks that allow you to stack them to use back to back, so chaining them is going to be fun. I also really like the way they look. The way the lightning strikes, the way the word perfect pops up, the flames, the particles, the sounds, all the effects, and even when the attack ends, the axe doesn't just respawn on Valkyrie's hand. Nope, she picks it up herself. You can see the animation of her doing it, so props to the team for making them look so cool. The second part shows the heavy attack in context. We are on a floor, jumping around, fighting skeletons and musketeers, and then boom, we get our heavy attack and unleash it. We also get visual changes to the HUD. The area where our names are displayed looks different, with our characters having new icons. We're exiting the stage of placeholders. The map looks more clear, and the text message icon got a makeover. My favorite change is probably the hero kit icons. I can't really tell what the drawings are, but they kind of look like runes. So I like how it gives the game somewhat of a historical, mysterious vibe. Makes it seem more in theme with the tower, more immersive. We also get to see a new floor layout. And the reason why it's so different is because floors are going to be different from what we have seen so far. Rather than the usual big floors where the goal was finding the exit, floors are now going to be smaller with different objectives. The team told us that at this point there are combat, elite, and survival floors. As we can see on top, this floor is most likely a combat floor, where we have to defeat waves of enemies in order to move on to the next one. As we will see in a bit in one of the pictures, we get what I think is an elite floor where we have to defeat an elite enemy. As for the last part of the video, it's once again telling us that a closed beta is coming soon. Close in this case, for us, it means that signups are required for playing the game, and unfortunately, not everyone will be able to get in. My advice? Follow the game's socials and join their Discord server if you don't want to miss out, since that's where they're gonna be sharing it whenever it's time. I'll put the link in the video description for the Discord server for those interested. Last but not least, we have two in-game screenshots. In the first one, we have what I assume is an elite floor, a sort of boss fight floor. The reason I think this is an elite floor is because if we look back at the Yeti sneak peek, he was classified as an elite enemy. So if there are elite floors, then my guess, if we connect it to, is that these floors involve an elite enemy. Could be wrong, but we'll see. The enemy we're fighting in this case is Tree Golem, which was not classified as an elite enemy, but that's something that can always change. Since we're fighting, the whole floor is shaped like an arena, and at the center, there we are, the heroes. We have Barbarian, Firecracker, and Bomber. And again, just look at the difference, guys. Just look at the difference. The game visually has changed quite a bit. Like, they all look so much more detailed. You can even see their hair strands. And I guess now Firecracker also has orange highlights, so a cool change in the design. Maybe to differentiate her a bit more from Archer. Even though lore-wise they're like the same, I don't know, type of character, I guess. Family of characters, I guess. I also really like the way they're shaded. It kind of reminds me of the art style of the Arcane series, how the surfaces of everything are painted. And if we look at where the characters are standing, it's an elevator with what looks like an infinity symbol. It seems all elevators will have this now, and maybe it's to represent the infiniteness of the tower. Maybe it's a symbol that will show up in other places as well, being central to the theme of the tower. In the second image, we have what looks like a more typical floor where we have to reach the exit, but I'm not sure if that will be the goal in this one. For the heroes, we have Goblin Brawler in his usual outfit, Valkyrie as the skin that was revealed over a year ago, the Ghost of Clashmas yet to come, and Archer as a goddess slash spirit slash elemental, maybe? Which one do you guys prefer? I think they both look great, but if we think of all the skins we have seen so far, I think the train conductor engineer skin we were shown for Battle Machine is still my favorite. Whew, we did it. We made it. We went over everything. It was a lot. It was a lot of information, so to summarize what's happening, Tower Climb at its core is now made up of different paths that do end and vary in length and difficulty. An endless path will be something left for a late game experience, later in the development cycle of the game. For hero gameplay, trinkets and spells have been paused for now. Heavy attacks now require light attacks to charge, and there is a new system of upgrades and perks that allows for more specialized hero builds every climb. No specific date just yet, but a closed beta is coming soon. The hero roster for the closed beta is going to be Barbarian, Archer, Valkyrie, Firecracker, Bomber, and Goblin Brawler. Leaderboards, the season shop, skins and voice chat will also be there. And last but not least, once again, for anyone that is interested, you're welcome to join the Project R.I.S.E official Discord server. This is where we get information for everything Project R.I.S.E related, including everything I talked about in this video. Link in the description. And even when there are announcements, because of course they don't happen all the time, we still get information from the developers, and it's simply a good place for anyone who wants to talk about the game and other stuff, so join if you would like. Alright, that's it. Thank you all, and have a very, very, very good one. We're back, people, we're back.